How to build an easy mud/clay farm in Minecraft. These are the resources you will need for this farm. Alright, so the first step to this farm is to place yourself 2 blocks into the ground, then place yourself a redstone torch on top of this last block. Go behind this redstone torch and place yourself a block going out from the redstone torch, then place a block to the right of this, place another block going upwards, destroy that bottom block, head back to the front side of it here and then place yourself a piston right here. Then what you want to do is place yourself a redstone dust right here, and what should happen now is that if you place a block on top of this piston, it should be pushed forward, like this. Then what you will have to do is place yourself a block right here, a redstone dust on top of that block, then place yourself 4 droppers going upwards from this block right here. And then what you want to do once you have placed your 4 droppers is that you want to place yourself a dispenser on top of these droppers facing the same way as the piston, so pretty much going this way. Then once you want it done that, you want to place yourself another dispenser going outwards but facing this way, and you want to place this next to the 3rd dropper. So if we now place blocks going out from this piston or blocks being pushed forward, they should end up reaching pretty much right in front of that dispenser. So anyways, once you've done this, what you want to do now is place yourself a glass block right here, then place a redstone dust on top of that glass block, place 2 more glass blocks on top of these 2 redstone dusts, then place 2 more redstone dust right here, then another redstone dust on top of here, then place yourself a hopper going into this bottom dispenser, and then what you want to do is place yourself a temporary block on top of this hopper and then surround this block with trapdoors, then open these trapdoors pretty much like this, and then you want to destroy the block that's inside of here and replace it with a water source. And you can also place yourself a slab on top of the roof here or a solid block if you want to. Anyways, what you will have to do now is head down here and then place yourself a hopper going into this bottom dropper, and then you want to head behind this hopper and then place 3 blocks going back from this hopper, then place yourself a redstone comparator right here with then 2 redstone dust going out from that comparator, then place yourself a hopper while shift clicking, so pretty much place a hopper facing into this comparator. Then once you've done that, you will need to break out some of these blocks to get down there, and then you will have to break out these 3 blocks under here. You will need to replace the block in the middle right here with a solid block, then you will also have to place yourself a block in the back right here, but you can also leave that as dirt. But anyways, place yourself a redstone dust behind here, so now you should have a total of 3 redstone dusts. Then place yourself a redstone repeater inside this room looking into this block, and then place yourself a redstone torch on top of this block right here, and then you can of course fill this back in with dirt. Then anyways, what we have done now is made an automatic item sort that will make sure only the empty glass bottles are sorted out of this dispenser. So anyways, what you will have to do now is enter this top hopper right here, so pretty much a hopper that's looking into this comparator, and then you will have to place yourself 41 glass bottles inside this first slot and make sure these are empty bottles or these normal glass bottles, and then you will have to place yourself 4 blocks that will not go through the system in the back right here, so that can pretty much be any kind of block, but I'm just going to use cobblestone. So anyways, what you will have to do now is to head behind there, and then we will need to place yourself 3 blocks right here, and then you will have to place yourself 3 redstone dust on top of these blocks. So anyways, now the main part of this farm is actually kind of done. However, we still have some more things to add on to make this even better, but I'm gonna now show you how this works. So before we do that, you will have to open this top dispenser right here and ideally fill up the whole dispenser with glass bottles. Now this is gonna be a lot of glass bottles, so you can also do half stacks, so 32 instead, but I would recommend you fill it fully up. So anyways, what we can do now is head in front of here, stand on top of this block, then place yourself dirt blocks on top of this piston, and what will happen now is that obviously glass bottles will be dispensed out, or water bottles I mean. However, once the dirt reaches this dispenser, as you can see, it is turned into mud. So what we can do now is just stand down there and continue pushing this out, and you will actually need to push this out until the end. Place yourself a few more dirt blocks until it reaches all the way towards the end, and boom, now it's reached all the way to the end, and now we're going to expand this system so all these blocks are pushed forward. This will allow you to get a lot more mud, and obviously we're going to add a little thing that will then turn that mud into clay automatically. So anyways, let's get on with that. So the first thing you will have to do is place yourself a row of pistons pretty much going right of this dispenser, so pretty much right here, and if you have a hard time placing them like this, you can also place yourself some blocks right here and then simply place yourself pistons like this, and then you can destroy those blocks. So what you will have to do now is place yourself redstone dust on top of these pistons, and then you will have to go all the way to the right side right here, then place a block right here, then redstone torch right here, and this redstone torch should be under where this mud block is. So if you destroy these mud blocks, you should have something that looks like this. So what you will have to do now is place 2 blocks going upwards to the right side of this block right here, destroy the bottom block, then head around and place another block right here, then place 2 redstone dust on top of here, and what should happen now is that if this clay is extended one more, or mud I mean, it will be pushed forward pretty much like that. Now I can pretty much just keep standing AFK here, so let's just do that to show you how the farm works. So I can stand here, and as you can see, the mud is pushed forward, so I can just keep here, I can hold down my place button, and we will just get a bunch of mud. Also, to briefly show you how this will work, as you can see, glass bottles are running out, but they're being filled up with water inside this dispenser. So every time you place a dirt right here, as you can see, the redstone signal right here gets activated, which then dispenses a bottle into this water, which then turns into water bottle. It is then sent into this dispenser, and because of this redstone signal right here, it turns the dirt that will end up here into mud. And because of the item sorter we have right here, the glass bottles will then be sent into this hopper, then into this hopper, and it will then be sent into this dispenser and then pushed upwards. Dropper I mean. So that's pretty much how the system works. So what I can do now is just keep standing here and keep turning all this dirt into mud.
A few moments later.
Alright guys, so as you can see, this farm has now been filled up, and this is the max amount of clay you can pretty much push outwards, or mud I mean. So anyways, as you can see, we now have a bunch of mud right here, and now I want to turn this into clay, so let me show you how to do that. So to do that, the first thing you will need to do is place yourself a bunch of stone blocks pretty much under all of this mud, pretty much like how I'm doing right now. Alright, so now that you have placed yourself a bunch of stone under, what you will have to do now is grab yourself a bunch of pointed dripstones and then place them under right here. And what will happen is that the water that's inside these muds, as you can see right here, will be taken away from the mud and then dropped down to the ground, and that will pretty much over time turn this mud into clay. However, placing all this dripstone under it can be a bit annoying, so what you can do is place yourself a trapdoor right here, open it, get under here, and then you can simply place all the dripstone like this. Alright, so I am almost done placing, I am actually done placing all the dripstone under here, and as you can see, if we go up here now, some of the mud is being turned into clay. So all I will have to do now is wait a minute or two, and all this mud will then be turned into clay.
A few moments later.
Alright, as you can see, pretty much all the mud has been turned into clay. So what you can do now is go into survival, grab yourself a shovel, ideally put fortune 3 on it to get yourself a bit more clay. And what you can do now is just start mining it. Alright, so I'm almost done breaking all the clay, and as you can see, I've gotten quite a lot of it. So if I jump onto the ground, there should be some more down there. I've gotten a little over 7 stacks of clay, which is pretty good, from just this one platform. And what I can do now is simply grab myself some more dirt, jump on top of here, and then just keep standing AFK, and then I will make more mud, and obviously this mud will then be turned into clay. So that is how this farm works, guys. As you can see, I've turned some of this into clay now, mud I mean, and then it's slowly turning into clay. So yeah, pretty much like that. So anyways, guys, that is how to build a pretty easy and honestly pretty good clay and mud farm. So anyways, that is it for this one, and I hope you found this helpful. If you have no questions about how this works or anything like that, feel free to leave them down below, and I'll try to answer as quickly as possible. So anyways, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. Peace out.